Welcome to Milk Market Tidbit for the May Dairy Products Report that USDA released on Thursday afternoon. This is Dr. Lawrence Jones, and I'm recording this on Sunday, July the 5th. So the Dairy Products Report does kind of pull everything together for May, except this time we're going to have a pretty big hole right here, which is the exports. For some reason, the dairy exports for May aren't going to come out here until this next week. But if we look at the revisions for cheese, they were basically not meaningful, as were the butter revisions also. So again, no major revisions. Here's the daily cheese production. We've been on this tremendous upward trend. Now in 2024, we came down a little bit, but these are beginning to come together. The cheese production we had in May was the highest we've ever had for any May. It actually came in exactly where we expected it to be. The p-value on this between the expected and the actual was 0.63. So again, no statistical difference. American cheese looks a little bit different. We had this upward trend. We really fell down here in 2024. And if we look at the May production of American cheese, it was higher last year and 3 years ago, but otherwise it's still a pretty good value of American cheese. Cheddar cheese looks about the same because, again, it's a major component of American. Upward trend, we came down in 2024. And there are only two times when it was higher than we're at now, and that's last year and 3 years ago, the same as American. Now, normally, you were going to say, hey, this was down from last year, so that's fairly significant. But look at how much it was up from 2 years ago, and to me, that's the bigger story. And in fact, the cheddar cheese came in above where we expected it to be with a p-value of 0.35, so not statistically so. Italian cheese is totally different. Here's the upward trend. 2024, we really started taking off, and the Italian cheese production we have in May is the highest that we've ever had. Whey production has been on this long-term trend, and we're just slightly above it. We were down for the last 2 years, but again, we're pretty much on that long-term trend. Now, butter production is a little bit different because we've got this long-term trend. We really came up here in 2024, and it's been on a significant rise ever since. And there's no doubt that the May production was the highest we've ever had for May. So again, there's just a tremendous amount of butter floating around in the system. If we compare it to the projected number, it came in a little bit above, and that p-value is 0.30. So again, not overly statistically so. Non-fat dry milk has been coming up. Again, we've been on this long-term uptrend, but if we look at where we are now, this is very reminiscent of where we were back from 2015 to about 2019. So again, we're coming back into kind of normal non-fat dry milk production, and I would say these 3 years previous were all pretty high. Ice cream production is very strong, this long-term trend, and I would say that there's no break in that trend. That's all the same trend, and we came in slightly above it in May. Again, this is very, very seasonal. Total yogurt has been going up. We can see that this really started back here in 2024. And is very strong. And cottage cheese, kind of the same thing. We're on a downward trend. Nobody was eating it, and all of a sudden TikTok hit back here around 2022, and this thing has just been rocketing up. And it's one of the best protein foods that the overall domestic demand has found. So that concludes this week with the Dairy Products Report. Nothing really significant next week, only the May exports and National Dairy Sales Report. And we're going to have this statistical uniform prices sometime in the middle of July, and we'll get a milk market tidbit for that.